Archives. The word itself is mysterious, ancient, and powerful. It evokes images of granite floors and marble columns, of Egyptian tombs, of hidden treasures, of Indiana Jones in the world of academics, of never-ending stacks of books and miles of dusty documents. But for the District 1 Archives Committee, it's all about extra space storage at 4750 62nd Avenue North in Pinellas Park. Here's where we keep our archives material. It is temperature and humidity controlled, and it is the biggest expense in our annual budget. The mission of the District 1 Archives Committee is to document the work of Alcoholics Anonymous by collecting and preserving historical material relating to District 1. Like any other AA service committee, our primary purpose is to carry the message of Alcoholics Anonymous. Archive service work is more than mere custodial activity. It is the means by which we collect, preserve, and share the rich and meaningful heritage of our fellowship. It is by the collection and sharing of these important historical elements that our collective gratitude for AA is deepened. You are about to see a sampling of what items our committee has collected, stored, and preserved over the years since 1983, when the committee was created. There's too much to show you everything, so we will show you examples of the types of historical artifacts we keep and that we put on display for AA events. The District 1 Archives Committee was born in 1983 and was chaired by Pat S. In 1984, the committee decided to organize their committee along the lines of GSO Archives Committee. To that end, it was decided that the position of archivist would be a permanent position and that the committee members would rotate in and out as other service committees do. The committee was accepting donations now, and the archives collection began to grow. They received a large bag filled with old issues of The Grapevine, spanning from 1964 to 1984. Over the years, more Grapevine magazines were donated. The archivist organized the collection and filled in missing issues for certain years, and now the collection is complete within its range, all issues from 1964 to 2016. As the years went by, more Grapevine material was donated to the archives. Some of the more noteworthy items are the first Grapevine published in Spanish from July of 1995, the first AA magazine published in England, Wales, commemorative issues for Dr. Bob, January 1951, and Bill, March 1971, and of local interest, a book of Grapevine articles, all penned by AA members from Pinellas County. In this collection of Grapevine articles are the voices of our friends and fellow AAs from Pinellas County. They share with us how they have navigated through life without alcohol, hoping their stories might be of help to us. This is an example of AA fellowship. This is one alcoholic talking to another alcoholic. We recognize in the efforts of these authors their intentions to carry to others the message of hope, the message of Alcoholics Anonymous. Everybody loves buttons. Here are some buttons from different AA events. Through the goodwill of many of the District 1 members, the archives has accumulated a substantial collection of books, both non-AA books and AA books. Many well-known authors and leaders in the field of alcoholism are represented here in our own archives library, along with many books on the history of AA and biographies of people who were important to the creation and growth of our fellowship. In 2019, the District 1 Archives Committee was given 3 beautiful photo panels which came from the Ray G. collection. Ray was originally from Cleveland, Ohio. It was there that he found AA and became involved in Dr. Bob's house in Akron and in their archives. He and his wife moved to Seminole, Florida, after he retired from General Motors. He brought with him his personal collection of AA archives, which he would load up in his trailer and pull around to various AA events. We thank his family for their generous donation. This panel contains photos of some of the first AA members who contributed their own stories to the first edition of the Big Book. Bob Oviatt, the salesman. Charles Simonson, riding the rods. Jim Scott, traveler, editor, scholar. Dick Stanley, the car smasher. Paul Stanley, Truth Freed Me. Archie Trowbridge, the fearful one. Archie Trowbridge, fearful one. Archie Trowbridge ended up homeless, jobless, penniless, and rudderless. With the help from a friend, he managed to seek out Dr. Bob, who put him in the hospital for a few days, and then took him into his home where he lived with Dr. Bob and Ann for 10 months. Bill W. took Archie back to Detroit, where he was living prior to moving in with Dr. Bob. He made amends where he could and delivered dry cleaning out of a broken-down jalopy. He started the first group of AA in Detroit. Although the entire world of medicine, religion, and psychiatry failed to find a way to successfully treat alcoholism, one man, Bill W., did find a way. Early attempts by Bill to sober up drunks were not so successful. His wife, Lois, said that although he had few successes with other alcoholics, he himself was staying sober. As simple as it sounds, this was the key to AA's program of recovery. The best thing an alcoholic could do was talk to another alcoholic. And it was this truth that the tradition of sharing one's story began. In our archives, we have a book containing the biographies of the very first AA members to share their own stories, in the hopes that others may learn from their experiences. The photographs here bring our history to life. They hold the stories of the early AA members who all played vital roles in creating a fellowship that has given alcoholics a solution that works. These are images of the courageous people who made a commitment to help other alcoholics by participating in the birth and growth of an organization that continues to help alcoholics all over the world. Archives keeps these photos so that we don't forget where we came from. So we keep the gratitude we have for these special men and women, and so we continue what they started, a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others achieve sobriety. Here's a third edition big book donated to us by the members of the Old Timers meeting at the Rebos Club. It was given to them by the members of the 2250 group on October 21st, 1990. Close to 50 old-timers signed it. This is a real treasure for our archives. It is history come alive. It reflects the camaraderie of these old-timers and reflects a moment frozen in time as each old-timer wrote his or her name in the book and the date of their sobriety. Their testament is a promise to all who follow in their footsteps that there is a solution. Alcoholics Anonymous had a very slow start, and although their methods were working, Bill and Dr. Bob were frustrated that they couldn't reach more than a handful of drunks. Then Jack Alexander wrote an article about AA in the March 1941 Saturday Evening Post, which gave our fellowship national attention, and numbers of new members and new AA groups grew by the leaps and bounds. We have a copy of that famous magazine in our archives. The District 1 Archives Committee was given a generous donation of CDs by the Hoffman family. Jim and Maria Hoffman provided a very special service to the Pinellas County AA membership. They recorded AA events and special talks by AA speakers, and edited them and burnt them on CDs and made them available to the AA membership. They ran a business, Vision Audio, which was right across from the Intergroup office on Ulmerton Road. You would also see them at AA events such as quarterlies and conventions and other events, selling their wares. Besides these valuable recordings of speakers, they also sold AA memorabilia, trinkets, and jewelry. We thank the Hoffman family and Angie, who was part of the Vision Audio organization, for their generosity. We have a large collection of audio files stored on CDs. There are two basic types of CDs: speaker recordings and interview recordings. Our Archives Committee has been running an interview project since 1983, when the committee was created. It is a way to learn from those who came before us. It is one alcoholic talking to another alcoholic. Like the articles in the Grapevine, it is a way to preserve the thoughts and feelings of alcoholics like us who have faced the same challenges we do. They pass on the wisdom they acquired during those sober years to those of us who are walking a few steps behind them. So we consider these recordings a valuable resource for our archives. We also have a large collection of speaker recordings. These are CDs of local AA members who were recorded giving talks at various AA events, from home group meetings to anniversary meetings, at area quarterlies, and at special AA events like dinners and banquets. And there are some CDs recorded at AA workshops. In our archives, we have a collection of letters, organized in a timeline so that reading through those letters you can follow the history of how AA started in Pinellas County. We have letters from Edwin E. of St. Petersburg to the AA offices in New York City, then called the Alcoholic Foundation. The letters were written in 1940. This was years before the first AA group was established in Pinellas County. My intention here is not to tell the story of how AA got started here, but just to present to you what we have in our archives collection. That being said, here is a letter from Fred M. to Bobby B. at the New York office. It describes the very first AA meeting of AA in Pinellas County. The letter was written on December 15, 1945. Dear Bobby, well, last night we had our first AA meeting in St. Petersburg. There were 8 present. Roy Yergin, founder of the Tampa Group, Farrell Callahan, Akron, vacationing here, Walter Orr from East Orange, New Jersey, 3 baby Alkies, one of them we lifted from jail. Of course, we took him back after the meeting, and myself. All in all, it looks like we're going to shove off to a good start. The chief of police has given us a list of 100 or more alcoholics he knows of. Coxhead, secretary of the Y, is also very cooperative. Strange, Coxhead had never heard of AA, although he has been secretary of the Y for 40 years. So you see, dear Bobby, the field is even more fertile than we thought. Also, I have contacted several ministers. A number of them are going to Tampa with me Friday night. Our St. Pete babies are going along too. Guess Roy Yergin has written you something with regard to starting a group in Lakeland. Here's an article from The Sun, a Clearwater newspaper, dated Wednesday, March 7, 1945, only a month after the first meeting in St. Petersburg. Immediately following General Cummings' remarks, Program Chairman Satterfield announced that through the efforts of Lion Stephen, a most unusual speaker has been provided. This proved to be the case as the speaker was introduced as a member of the widely known Alcoholics Anonymous, who told of his own personal salvation through this group and of its continuing desire to help those afflicted with alcoholism who want to help themselves. And yet another article appears in the newspaper in March 1945 announcing the start-up of a new AA group in Clearwater. A score or more of local men to whom alcohol has become a predominant problem in their lives have taken a new road to the solution of their difficulties through the organization here recently of a chapter of Alcoholics Anonymous, a nationally recognized organization composed of former alcoholics. This local group, which includes many successful businessmen, will hold its first open meeting on Wednesday night, March 21st at 8 o'clock, Chamber of Commerce Building. And all those who are interested in the problem of alcoholism are cordially urged to attend. Did you ever wonder how your home group got started? The Archives Committee also records and keeps the histories of county home groups for those groups that choose to participate. There is a group history form available on our website. Once you register your home group with Archives, we put your name on a leaf and on our family group tree. The Ozona group has registered with our committee and has a leaf on its tree. Let's find out the who, where, and what of its beginning. The Ozona Group was started January 8, 1962 in a back room at Woody's Tavern. There was some controversy about this, but we paid little attention. We had talked to Dr. Fred and was told to go ahead. We met Tuesday and Sunday, Friday nights, and later a Sunday morning breakfast was started. We got help from the surrounding towns of Clearwater, St. Pete, and Tampa. The founding fathers were Woody Wood, David D., Arnold J., Jim P., Bud M., Bill A. Later, all but Woody and Dave dropped out. It became difficult later when attendance fell off, but we persevered. Our first anniversary was held in the tavern. About 125 people attended. Dr. Fred stood on a beer case and gave us a talk. All alcohol was marked with a skull and crossbones. Churches 2. We have in our archives a PowerPoint presentation titled Churches 2. We don't know who authored the presentation. It is a mammoth history of AA. There are 1,437 slides. Our archivist is in the process of editing the presentation, organizing the slides into topics, chapters, and categories, and using a timeline for the order of the slides. A lot of slides are out of the scope of interest, and there is a lot of redundancy. There are also facts in the presentation that demand examination because they contradict facts in other sources. This is a long-range project. It will eventually be an important resource for our committee and for anyone who's doing research on the history of AA. Our archivist is creating a concordance, table of contents, index, all to make this PowerPoint more user-friendly. Incidentally, we have no clue as to why the presentation is titled Churches Too. Plain and Straight. The Archives Committee also provides articles about AA history in each issue of the Plain and Straight Intergroup newsletter. These articles cover local and general history of events and people of AA. Check it out. You will be informed and entertained with well-written AA history. We hope you have enjoyed the tour. The District 1 Archives Committee is here to serve the Pinellas County AA membership. We not only collect and store and care for the historical artifacts in our collection, we put the collection on display for all to enjoy at AA events. We also give talks at AA events. We will come to your AA event, whether a large event like a quarterly or convention, or workshop, or smaller events like home group business meetings, anniversaries, speaker meetings. We have a variety of topics we can focus on in our talks. Contact us if you would like more information. Our committee meetings are held the third Saturday of the month at 10 a.m. at the 2250 Group Space, 3125 5th Avenue North, St. Petersburg. Or you can go to our website, district1archives.com, where we have a contact link to our email address. Each item in our collection is more than what it seems at first glance. Each item carries with it a part of the Pinellas AA history. Each item holds within itself the people of AA, their stories, their tears and laughter, their hopes and failures. Each item is part of the struggle of a fellowship born out of despair, out of dreams for a better life. Each item can breathe life into our history and awake our collective memory. When we pause to look a little longer, when we take the time to look a little deeper, we find in each item the collective heritage of our fellowship and the collective soul of the Pinellas AA people. Whenever a society or civilization perishes, there is always present one factor: they forgot where they came from.